Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to see y'all again. Good to see a Kit. Good to see a Brayherd. Good to see a Mel. Hope everyone had a good weekend. And Kit, congratulations. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of being back. It's because you've also subbed for 33 months. Thank you so much for the support. I want to give some quick thank yous and shout outs to new followers. Thank you to ZN Dog Pie, Jesus Rod, WizKid Mitri, and 6 which could either be Birdie or Gertie. I don't know, but either way, thank you for the follows. Hope you have a great time. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I had a fine weekend. It was uneventful. I get to have a nice breakfast on Saturday. That was had guest in town from previous assignment visiting. So, but yeah. You are back. Good to have you back, Kit. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive on, and we're in a Clair Obscur, and we are ready. Well, we think we're ready to go face the Paintress. Let's go. And there's no audio. Consarn it. Hey, I love Mondays are for expeditions, but also Mondays are for troubleshooting. It turns out because I can't get the audio. Hold on. Well, that didn't work. So step two. Okay, that worked. What up, Gale? Haven't been keeping up. What's with the 33 sorrows of the game? There's a lot more than 33, it seems. The game is kind of oops all sorrows. Hello? There we go. It just decided it didn't want to pay attention to the controller for a moment.
Let us get wet.
Oh, you fixed one problem? Have another. Windows. Computers in general. And it's across 2 computers. They're conspiring.
We can do this. For Gustav. For all of them.
She's very mannequin-esque. Like, her limbs look artificial. Oh, hey, Expedition 0. Fortunately, we don't need to rest. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a screenshot. I should really just tie a button to that on my stream deck, I think. This is just the level in Peak. I don't remember a giant woman and a glowing monolith in Peak. And I've been enjoying playing that game quite a bit solo. I'm just lighting all these candles. Oh, what beautiful soundtrack right here. Just the somberness of it, the simplicity. Oh. Ooh, pizzicato. The Mind Slug. Thank you for the follow. Welcome back. You've haunted Father Trekkie. Oh, dear.
Sors et fuis, je t'en prie. Fuis ce tableau maudit, cette toile d'une fausse vie. Portrait rêvé, imparfait, chaîne de ta
We are but ants to her.
Elements converge.
Excuse, what do you mean nullified? Oh, screw that up.
A storm is coming.
She seems immune to many things. She seems immune to all things.
Sors et fuis, tableau maudit, cette toile d'une fausse vie.
Ugh! Our attacks do nothing.
I don't understand. The gradient attack should work. Wait, Mael.
I don't think this is.
No. No.
Everybody okay?
Who are these people without the faces?
What?
This might be our only chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you mean inside? Why is there a giant picture frame?
We are inside the monolith? What was that thing? Why
Nope.
did it help us inside?
Are you all right, Mael? Up there. She's the paintress. She's up there.
What do you mean?
I don't know, but I can sense the real paintress. Her heart is above us somewhere.
I guess we head up then.
I don't think the Eiffel Tower is supposed to look like that. Leaning Tower of Eiffel. This is like that first area we were in. These were the enemies that we found there. I don't even remember what most of this does.
Elements converge.
Let's carve a path. I got this. Lune, careful.
Your turn to shine.
Do I think the Tower of Babel is why we have different languages? Not in like a literal sense. I think a lot of that portion of Genesis, you know, it is scripture, it is divinely inspired, but that's a key word, inspired. And it's an understanding of the way that humanity is not made to be divided, but is to be united. It doesn't necessarily mean we can't speak different languages, but that it's also a mythological understanding of like, okay, well, we live in this world with all these different languages. How did that happen? Also, why did it go black and white here? A lot of the Old Testament is violently inspired, like the Ark. Yeah, and
What was that?
I don't know.
Fire. Again.
And one of the interesting things about the Ark is that there are other ancient Near East myths of a flood, and what comparing them tells us what each religion kind of thought of itself, of the people and of its gods, and what that means. So like there's a version from Babylon, and it's basically, well, this guy has to just get out there on his own. You know, he gets told because of one god tipping him off, and you know, there's not. Whereas the Genesis version is much more the sense of like renewal, new birth, wiping clean, and starting over, and understanding that God is choosing humanity in a particular way. That way, from, you know, admittedly it is from one person, but you know, it's how we understand these stories and compare them can show us a lot of what it means. And again, not necessarily that it has to be a literal history, but you know, maybe there was some sort of flood event in the ancient Near East that impacted the minds collectively and became mythologized in these different religions. You're right. I forgot my color vision tax. Yo, the Lord of Spirits talked about it last week. That's talk about coincidence. don't think I'll have enough skill points. Oh, well, Mael can get something. I don't know if I want to unlock. I think I want to work towards combustion. So I hear much praise for the story. Attempted to make another run at this game to experience it. But how's the moment-to-moment gameplay in this deep end? So I'm playing on story. I'm gonna turn it down slightly. I'm playing on story mode, so that makes it kind of easy. But I think it's still good. Like, and a lot of the fights, like, there's no random encounters. You see the enemies, and you can avoid a lot of it. But if you want the more Souls-like combat, you can play on normal mode where parrying and timing is all that much more tight. I do not look. I think it's the same question of like, how do you put up with just the fighting, the regular enemies in like a Dark Souls? Yeah, and for some people the difficulty can be the fun, but I guess I was trying to say I'm playing on easy, so I'm kind of coasting through. So like I'm not having to grind, I'm not having to... way too early there. Ah, too late. Hey, Craig.
Bring it on.
I jump. Had to unironically get good. Yeah. That's part of the problem is I'd have to grind to get good.
Sweet taste of battle.
Did I grind when playing Magic the Gathering to get good? Oh, that implies that I'm good at Magic the Gathering. Let's swap our party around a little bit. Why not? I had to grind to pass the judge test. Doesn't mean that I'm good at Magic. So you say that, Gale, but I also know about the existence of your mono-white Death and Taxes deck.
Again. Teaching her children to paint, huh?
CL, what are you doing up there? Oh,
Let's spill some ink.
nullifies. I don't like that.
Ready?
Oh, right, those are flying enemies. I forgot.
Your turn to shine. That's more like it.
Let's spill some ink.
Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, I think cosplays in this game are going to be really cool. Simpo gear, but a movie. Okay.
Do me in.
Here's your card.
Oh, really?
Ah, what is the timing on that? I did not understand the signal.
Lovely feet.
Turn down just a little more. Oh, I love the use of the electric guitar there. Problem is he has a light weapon, and that's what she's immune to.
Minoko, parry! You can't escape.
Good job, Mail. I tried to
What have we here?
avoid fighting this giant guy. No, 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 that's okay. No, 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 no.
Interesting.
Guess that's where I came from. Is it? I'm getting so turned around. Should I cross this bridge? Yes, I crossed this bridge. Because I came across the Expedition 70 flag. Oh, I didn't rest. It was the entire reason I went back to the flag was just to rest and get my healing tint back. Okay, I have not been this way. I choose to believe that this is the way forward. Nice counter. I always have to be careful to remember what actually rest of the bonfire, spirit lantern, sight of grace, flags, etc. Yeah. Okay, so this has some locks, supposedly. There's one. Two. And there's three.
Nice.
Ooh, revive tint shard. That's pretty nice.
Through the flames.
Ready. Here's your card.
Your turn to shine.
Please fly. Okay.
I thought it jumping meant I needed to jump. It's Twilight. Let's do Phantom Blade.
Lady Luck smiled today.
So I guess one reason they're doing this from like a gameplay standpoint is it's giving Minoko a bunch of abilities that he did not have earlier. That actually sounds pretty useful. Yeah, we have 2 for each mask type now. Oh. That was just a loop. A nice loop for a little extra... Your fatality's pretty low. Ooh, she has so many options. Target ally deals double damage for 1 turn. I like that. I like the phrase double damage. Although, I'm gonna go with all set. And I'm gonna replace Rush with that. Because it's more expensive, but it does more. So I think long term in a battle that might mean more. And I'm saving up for combustion so Mail can have a chain of like setting something on fire, going to Virtuoso stance, and just wreaking havoc. Okay, so I think the way forward maybe must have been by the painting scene that we saw. Why are all these monsters mad at me? I didn't do it. Aha! Aha ha ha. This is very dark and hard to see. Okay, so now we're back in the underwater section. What was this called? The Reefs of Pain or something? Oh hey, a shop. I haven't seen one of those in quite a while. Hello there, you're new. I haven't seen a lot of you. Did you get here me? I've been stuck here for ages. Don't know how I got here. Quite a mystery. That tremors ground started floating and BAM! Here I was, all by my lonesome. Would have been lonely too. No, except I'm quite adept conversationalist. Yeah, I can talk enough for 2. That and scavenging odds and ends get me quite busy. I'm a merchant after all. And what's a merchant with no wares? Ah, but not many customers around here though. Very few, none in fact. And what's a merchant without customers? Just a walking bit of storage, eh? But now you're here. You'll want to take a look, yes? Of course. Ooh. Some weapons. And now I'm broke. Okay, so he's currently wielding the Verlesso 743. Yeah, Lanceram's just better. I thought I had one that looked like that already. Anyway, so she's got Barrier Breaker, which I think, yeah, is going to be better. 737 to 1224. Free aim spins the bestial wheel as well. That's actually really useful. Ask them to compromise.
Your turn to dance.
Now. Caster wheel is now, or the bestial wheel is now a caster. Benicio Motea. I should have shot first. Oh well.
Why, yes, I love a dance. My, what lovely feet.
This dude has a lot of health.
Full deck. Lady Luck smart.
Break. Success. Strike.
But we got there. This game is so pretty and it lives up to its name so well with how it plays with light and shadows. Man mail is a glass cannon. Aha, but now we can get combustion. So combustion will replace probably Mezzo Forte. I didn't even see that third one.
Here's your card.
From fire.
My own.
I think this is the best I've done on counters my entire playthrough. This game catches ethereal so well. Or captures. Oh, that's a big... Ooh.
On guard. Flames, engulf my blade.
Careful now.
What? No! 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 That's not right! That's not right. Ah, now I don't have enough for the enfeeblement. Oh well.
Here's your card.
Why, yes, I love a dance.
Eyes up, Monocle.
Time to bleed.
This thing is just wrong.
If I die, so be it. It's locked on you.
Take your shot.
It's locked on you.
Your turn to shine. Violence.
It's locked on you.
I disagree. I parried the second attack there. Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, she's no longer inverted, so I can heal her. Unfortunately, I'm not on the right mask to get regen, but... Or to get the heal, but I can get regen, so...
Your turn to shine. Why, yes, I love a dance.
Good.
disagree. I got that first one. Oh, Gale has redeemed a father joke. You ever look at your cheat sheet and you realize what you're about to say is terrible? Anyway, Pope Leo seems like a really cool pope so far. You know, he's been in office for, what, 4 months now? But I'm worried he might have a kitten addiction. After all, he does say he's cat-holic.
Lady Luck smart today.
Father Heaven, no. Father Heaven, yes! Apparently that once happened to Yenza. She raided someone who was using the Catholic tag, when in fact they were using it as cat-holic. They were still cool and chill. It was just kind of funny.
Flames, impulse my blade.
Invigorating.
Maya,
No, why? Why?
Lady Luck smart today.
That's more like it. I'd love a dance.
Careful now.
It likes you.
I like the banter they do.
Peaceful. Here's your card.
I disagree.
Time to lead.
Tune in. Lady Luck smiling today.
Why, yes, I'd love a dance. Violence.
Yes! Let's go! You get to cast Doom for that. Let's go. Ooh, new weapon for CL. It's not a lot better, but its element is light. Consuming foretell applies to burn per sun charge. Burn in twilight state. That sounds pretty useful, actually.
Well, that will help.
Okay, that was not the way to go. That was just optional. That's cool. Yeah, I've seen that channel from time to time. That's probably the way to go. I feel like I got some new Pictos that I can... That's honestly energizing turn is pretty good for Mael, I think. Otherwise, yeah, it looks like maybe stay marked. 2% chance to apply mark when attacking a marked target, so okay. Do I need to heal? I don't need to, but I'm going to because CL's kind of squishy.
I'd love a dance.
Mael.
Ah! Really bad time to screw up the parries.
Let's spill some ink.
This is a really obnoxious bunch of enemies.
Lovely feet.
Eyes don't lie.
Foolish move.
Ah, way too early. I didn't know what the timing of that was going to be. I disagree, but
Why, yes, I'd love a dance.
they're sick.
Eyes up, Bunker.
Although maybe I should have done Flore. Nah, he's just stunned. He can't do anything anyway. Oh, glad I healed.
Lane, get off my plate.
Yeah, still don't know the timing on that one.
Lady Luck's
Oh, this won't do anything. Because this is obscure. It's shadow.
I am refreshed.
a bright light effective? It would have been. If I used... I did some light damage stuff. I should have been paying attention more, but... I'm just doing this real quick to clear the notifications. I hate notification bubbles. Okay, so we're basically going... So the world was split, as we know. And it looks like by going through the monolith, we've wound up at the other side. Because this is clearly the parallel with the... We've already done the 2 other parallels with where we started, but this is definitely the parallel of the village of these things, whose name I forget. Gestrel. Although we didn't get a story beat in the last section. Like, we went through the whole underwater and there was not a single story beat with the black and white.
Interesting.
So there really does just seem to be one way forward. Okay. Hello. Hey, Beer Fox. Good to see ya. Yes, I have the foot collector, but I hate putting it that way. So many options.
Interesting.
Never mind, that was one option. Oh, I suppose you want me to fight you 3, is that it?
Negative violence, yes.
Okay, so if I do Clair and Feeble, the middle one won't take any damage. But the other 2 will, so I think that's still worth it. Oh yeah, because they took a lot of damage. Look at him there. He's so excited.
Here's your card.
It's locked on you.
No, I hit dodge.
Your turn to shine.
Flames, engulf my blade.
Negative violence, yes.
Did I hear the studio wants to make another game in the Clair Obscur universe? A folk hoping for a prequel. That could be interesting. Something set before the Sundering or what they called it. I forget what they called it. Okay, so the only thing I have that Yes.
Let's spill some ink.
Cards is that. So.
Flames, engulf my blade.
Oh, really?
I had not heard that, but that'd be really cool. Step 0. I would totally love to play another game made by this studio, even if it's not necessarily like the same universe, but like the same aesthetic. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Your turn to shine. Your turn to shine.
Look out! Okay.
Oh, whoops. A world where the redacted fight would be so cool. Yeah, that would be so cool. And thank you for not spoiling.
Careful now.
I disagree.
To battle.
Time to strike. Lady Luck smiled today.
Why do they look like a cheese sandwich? Who look like? Oh, because it's a statue that's being split and is being held together by light.
Foolish move.
On fire.
So you're on caster. Let's do a heal
Vigorous.
because everyone's off inverted by now.
Look out! Here we go. Lady Luck smiled today.
Ooh. New weapon for Lune. 891, 905. I think what we're rocking is better. Rotza, hey, happy feast day of Our Lady of Sorrows. We have a mother in heaven who both knows what it means to mourn and weep and is there alongside us, and also is willing to bring us closer to the sufferings of Christ to help us be transformed and led to our new tomorrow. Deals increasingly high fire damage to all enemies every single turn until Lune receives damage. Stuns self if interrupted. Ugh. Crippling tsunami, massive ice damage. I think I actually want this one. And I want to replace Ice Lance with it. Yeah. I'm definitely going to have to replay this game in my own time and to do a full deep dive of every nook and cranny.
Well, that will help.
You're currently playing through Hollow Knight. I feel like a lot of people... I feel like Silksong came out and a lot of people are like, I should play Hollow Knight for the first time. This game is so pretty. Do not play on a low power rig. You can try it on the Steam Deck and it looks just silly. So now have it on PC and stream it to the deck. That seems wise. I have to remind mine every time that it can do the top tier graphics. Because every time I boot it up, it's like, I must go to low settings. And it's like, no. No. This is a much better computer than that. Oh. Story. There's a house up there. There is drama between a husband and a wife, I'm assuming.
Who is she fighting?
Her husband?
You need to finish. We don't talk about what's on the need to finish pile of games. Oh, hey, it's one of these orbs. Hello, orb friend. Let me chase you to your spot and then fail to fight you because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Orb, look at this. You're chasing the other weirdos around. So what I'm probably supposed to do is, now that he's there, chase him from the other direction. No, 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 no. I don't contemplate the orb, I ponder the orb.
Through the flames.
Dodged? Oh, these are flying enemies. They did not look it.
Well, yes, I love a dance. Well, yes, I love a dance. Oh, really? Oh, really? Your turn to dance.
Ah, too early. Minoko said bang, 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 bang.
Well, well.
Don't make it weird, Beer Fox. Okay, patron. Okay, it's not the counters. Just shoot the petanque a bunch.
Henry!
Not the petanque! It's the petanque. Is petanque a play on the word? No, someone explained it last week in chat, and I forget what it was, but it's actually a very clever pun. It does seem that shooting the petanque is doing the most damage here, though.
Minoko, parry!
Dizzy! Harder to aim. Okay, yep, that confirms. I don't think I'm gonna get this. The talk. I got really close to one talk.
Of a dance.
Take your shot! Minoko, parry!
They can be respawned. I figured. I didn't think the game would be like, oh, well, you had one shot, you failed. Because that's not good game design. That may be what real life is like sometimes, but that's not good game design. This game is great. Find the Frenchness art style generally charming. Had some overall issues. Some of the themes are overall great. I have loved this game. I think it is very visually beautiful. And I think it grapples with some really tough stuff. I may not necessarily agree with the end conclusion, and I haven't finished the game, and I don't know what the ending is. But I think it handles a lot of those conversations in a meaningful way, and not just like a simple reduction. The key is hitting the orbs. The key is also not letting the punk flee. Here's a mime you can find. Yeah, we found one of the mimes by accident last week, and it terrified me. Because we were just going along, doing our own thing, and all of a sudden, haha, mime! Down into the danger pit. A mime is a terrible thing to waste. Boo! You call my puns bad? Oh, speaking of a mime. Apparently many players in New Game Plus make it a point of wrecking a mime in revenge. Nice. See, when we fought the mime, it was a grueling battle, but we did defeat it. And for that, we got some hair. Oh, it's one of those things. I haven't seen one of those things in a while.
Is it violence? Yes.
Here's your card.
Too early.
Try me.
What? I disagree.
The dance.
Harry it! Flames, think top of my blade. Harry it!
Violence.
Am I here? Nope. Exactly. Ah, dang it. I was hoping that'd count as 2 hits and take out all the shields. Have I any experience as a viewer of the game of Forspoken? What are my thoughts? I feel like these two and many others, some gameplay elements in common. I've never played Forspoken. I actually don't really know if I know Forspoken off the top of my head. You mean Forsaken? I think I know Forsaken.
Aya! From fire.
I'd love a dance. Oh, really? I'd love a dance.
Knuckle, Harry!
Nope. I only got die. Forspoken widely panned Squeenix thing. Man, there's so many video games these days.
Finesse and precision.
Careful now.
Oh, really?
Dang, I only missed one.
Really?
Really need to take out this cultist shields. And I don't know if I'm one to judge about games being panned. I mean, I've played both Draken and Super Pac-Man World 2 on stream.
A precise strike.
Oh, really?
Yes! Let's go!
Likes you.
Too early. Get a heal and a regen up.
Here's your card.
Switch her to Virtuoso stance.
Oh, really?
On me.
Dang it. I got all the parries, but I
Your turn to shine.
accidentally messed up the jump.
Take your shots.
Dance begins.
I keep getting emails from a dealership trying to buy my car. I haven't owned that car in years.
Let's gamble. Lady Luck's smiling today. Look out!
Yes, I got the gradient counter. Let's go.
Minoko,
That's pretty big.
ready to go.
Ah, what to choose?
Useful.
Let's spill some ink.
Oh, it applies 10 burn, not... Oh, I misread that. Just block and parry the stone club several times. Your size, it's simple. It's so simple. iPad? Hello? Oh man, my audio just freaked out.
Precision.
How's that? Yeah, my audio just like... I don't know if you could hear, but it like crackled and then was just like a second delay off. It was weird. Minoko cast bullet. You heard it? Okay. So it's not just me. It hasn't done that in a hot minute.
Good stuff.
+1 AP on hitting an enemy's weakness. Ooh.
Great.
Mystical game woman transported from New York City to a mystical world where she's trying to find her way back. She finds and wears a magical bracelet that gives her powers. Yeah, do not know anything about this game. I'll have to look into it. So here's a question. If these dirigibles were made by an expedition after the split, why are they here? It's like the world settings itself being split up, I understand, but like... No, I'm not gonna upgrade luck. Gonna upgrade... I do not know how CL is the one that's always at low health when she has the greatest defense out of all of them. Okay, I think it's time to shake up the party a little. It's also time for a break. How convenient is that? We'll leave Minoko in, because he's encountering a lot of enemies for the first time here. But we'll bring in Verso and Luna for a bit. But we're just going to take about a 3-minute break, so get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do, and we will be right back. So don't go anywhere. And we are back. On the break, Craig, I looked up Forspoken. I have no memory of that game. I don't remember any advertisement trailers, so I looked at the art and I went, never heard of this, unfortunately. So I'll have to look into it. Oh, right, the battleground. Oh, hello! Hello! No, that's okay. I didn't think you were... I thought you were a statue. I don't think that's the way you're supposed to get up here. Call it a hunch.
Let the ink flow.
Let's carve a path.
Oh no, he has the Vuvuzela.
Watch out, Minoko. Brace yourselves.
They still have no stains.
Time to bleed.
Careful now.
Your turn to shine.
Ready to evade.
Ah. Well, at least I didn't get silenced, but still.
Lune, careful.
Take cover!
Oh, right, she has a light weapon.
Lune, careful.
A bit of violence, yes.
Watch out, Minoko.
Okay, I got really lucky there, I'll not lie.
Here we go.
Great. That's
Your turn to shine.
that is light down.
Chroma is flowing.
So now these two nerds will be a lot easier to take down.
Brace yourselves.
sweetest of battle. Your turn to shine.
Yeah, way too early. Wrong button!
Watch out,
Why
Minot.
do we even have that button?
Cut him down.
A storm is coming. Careful, Verso.
What? Why did it get to go all of a sudden? Oh, because he was stunned, that's why.
I'll do it.
Let's carve a path. I've got this.
You got a troubadour's foot. That's not a sentence I expected to say.
Nice.
Um. Um. That's a grave that matches Gustav's. Is there a parallel world on the other side of the monolith?
Lovely.
His little grin. So proud of his latest creation. But at least those memories remain. What hurts more are the memories unmade. The conversations we'll never have. The time we'll never spend. I want rage to consume me. Anything to fill the hollow. But rage won't come. And I just float in an endless nothingness. The person I cannot be around is Alicia. Her pain is a broken mirror. The shards reflecting back tenfold, and every moment with her the cuts deepen and I feel myself unraveling. I know what he'll say. But this is the first time I've felt any surcease. For a few moments a day, my heart beats again.
So that's Verso's mother, I guess. Beautiful greenhouse. But, where's the door? Aha. There's a staircase. Okay, so that's over the dining hall. We saw that earlier. So that's... Okay, yeah, we saw this railing. It's so dark. Why do I feel like going through the painting frame there is a metaphor? Mother scolding a child for some reason.
We're inside her mind. These are memories.
How do you know that?
The chroma here. I can read it.
You can read the chroma. Are we about to meet Kate Walker? It sure looks that way.
A storm is coming. Elements converge.
The ice wind healed it.
Violence, yes.
That tracks, I guess. So that's 3. Yeah, I should be able to... Oh. There we go. That spins the wheel quite a bit. What? Oh, no, it's 5. What's the 3 then?
Let's carve a path. I've got this.
Why, yes, I love a dance.
Danger!
Oh. She just changed from fire to ice type.
Your turn to
That is so cool.
Let the ink flow.
Negative violence, yes.
What do you mean summons a clone?
You're outmatched.
I've got this.
Oh, excuse me.
Lightning dance.
What lovely feet.
Summons to call forth, bring into being, or demand the presence of clone, rep, copy, body, or double. You know? Surprisingly? Not the most helpful, but not the least helpful.
Great.
Nope, can't glitch my way up there. This felt like a path forward. But it wasn't. This is the way forward.
Great.
Base attack applies powerless for 1 turn. Urso, what do you have? Anti-charm? We can get rid of anti-charm for now. We've solved the riddle of the Axon and her her enchanting. Okay. I thought that would have a larger AoE, but...
Oh well.
It likes you. A bit of violence, yes.
I'm ready.
Missed. I did missed.
Brace yourself.
What if there weren't fire orbs?
Now is our chance.
Have you considered no fire orbs as an option? Asking for a friend.
Lightning dance.
Sweet taste of battle.
Rasalim. Fire-based weapon. Okay, so Monoko's train station. Stuck in eternal explosion. It's kind of hauntingly beautiful. Oh! It's one of you. Welcome to my train station. Where do you want to go? Where can you take us? From here, your next destination is Lumiere, my hometown. Take us there. Oh! I didn't think anything would actually happen, given our history of interacting with those faceless voids. How close do you think you are to the end? I think I'm very close to the end of Act 2, and then there's an Act 3. I think the plot was leading up to a point, And then it has diverged, and it's going to go, haha, there are plot twists afoot. And I like that. What do you think is dying at the end of Act 2? Oh, no, 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 no. You can't ask me that kind of question. That's terrible. I'm not ready to answer it. Max luck. Actually, I really maybe should do a higher luck for Lune because she has a thing that it's like more criticals, you get the stains. So. Ooh, honestly. I have a lot of things that cost B. Or at B. Let's change this old 0 for light holder. In metaphor, my luck stat is equal to the rest of my stats combined. Why am I not surprised? Also, why is this place called Tainted Lumiere? Hello, can you give me directions? I'm new here. Hello. Be that way.
Roma is flowing.
A bit of violence, yes. Let's cover path.
Makes playing the Merchant or the Deceiver really fun. I don't know what that means, to be honest. I don't really know much about Metaphor Refantasio. But I'm happy you're happy.
Your turn to dance.
I'll do it. I'm ready. Brace yourself.
Lune, careful.
It likes you.
Let the ink flow.
So much power.
I just realized what I did. That's why I didn't hit the timing, because I don't get the bonus if I don't hit the timing. Because they're both still inverted.
I've got this.
A storm is coming.
So much power.
Oh, he's still inverted. I thought his inversion had gone away. Oh, baloney.
Cut him down.
I disagree. Yeah, this looks just like the Lumiere we left. Except more gold, I think? Oh, the street definitely wasn't ruined like this. Oh, but hello, infrastructure? So the boy had a void face. Leading me to wonder if that
I don't understand.
kid we met outside the...
Verso? You okay?
Yeah, fine. Let's keep moving. We're almost at the top.
Verso, if there's something you need to tell us, I think you need to tell us. I wonder if the child at the train station that had the void face is the same one. This game is so pretty. Oh, this looks like a mandatory fight. A lot of combat today. Ah.
Time to bleed.
I'm ready.
Great. One down. Too early.
Take cover.
Ah, too early.
Your turn to dance.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Lightning dance.
Hey, let's go. I got both counters.
Cut him down. Luna, careful.
I'm getting better, finally, at this game. Having now put, what, 25 hours into it?
Ready to remain.
Charlotte, 17. We finally installed the last set of grapple points, with only days to spare. And for the first time, I feel real hope. This is our gift for all the expeditions to come. I am incredibly proud of our team. The interior of the monolith is perhaps the harshest landscape we've encountered. The final set of grapple points were excruciatingly complex to place and required painstaking focus and skill. But we were bold. We were ambitious, and we refused to stop. There's no other group of people I'd rather be with, and it is an honor to die by their side. It is fitting that we greet our end together within the monolith that has loomed over us for so long. Though this Nevron has won the battle, the expeditions shall win the war. Tomorrow is here.
For those who come after. Hey, Avalanche. Doing well yourself?
Nice.
So is there not a way forward from here? Guess that is the end. See, that's an interesting part of the history that I feel that, like, Gustav didn't learn, is the role the earlier expeditions had in establishing means of transport. Doing good. I showed stream to your son because he didn't believe me when I said I watched a priest stream. That's fair. I wouldn't believe it either if I wasn't doing it. And then I found out I'm not the only priest on Twitch.
Oh, wow.
Doing well. Aren't all priests old men? You know me. I fit that bill. No. That was Clair and an Obscur mixed together, making it a Clair Obscur. Father Evan is old. You heard it here. Yeah, you know. Hey, if I lived in the world of Clair Obscur, I would have been gommaged. How much you like grape nuts? No, it's Raisin Brain. Raisin Brain is where it's at.
Oh, wow.
Like grape nuts at size 15. And plain bread is better than raisin bread. Ooh, that is a bold claim. Problem with raisin bread is they put sugar in the raisins. Yeah. Well, especially from Raisin Bran Crunch. Like, they use sugar as a binding agent. Here, Fox. I like life. I know you're talking about Life the cereal, but I like the implication that you like life as opposed to having to eat things like grape nuts and raisin bran. I think I'll save up for one of the 6-cost ones. Protects allies by taking damage in their place for 2 turns. Duration set by 1 on gaining shell edge of day. That could be useful. Gonna make her a... although that's not really the build I've gone with for her. Because I've gone more for a high agility build. Like Big Biscuit, what? Just like the giant square of wheat. I feel like some plot's about to happen.
Is that you?
Of course you are here.
We're taking her down.
She's not the only one who grieves. The pain of losing you, she made me inherited. Punishment, perhaps, for not being there when it mattered. I refuse to lose my son.
That son was a stranger.
But you're not. You're not.
You lost me years ago, and I lost you.
So you leave us no choice. Tell me, how are you different from her in doing this?
I'm tired.
So trust me. We are your family.
Family is complicated.
If saving you means losing you, then so be it.
We only need to incapacitate him.
We'll find a way to kill him.
Yeah, careful.
So little.
This track is a banger.
Elements converge.
And I so want to look up the soundtrack to this, but I'm afraid of accidentally spoiling myself with the name of a song.
Don't break her heart.
But as soon as I am done with this game on stream, I am adding this soundtrack on my Spotify so quickly. Ow. Oh, your timing is tricky, Renoir. Almost like you're Renoir the Fox.
Give me all you want as long as you're alive to do it.
Let's carve a path.
Do you remember what it was like before?
Violence.
Okay, we're on Agile. Chevalier piercing is not great, so I'm actually gonna just spin the wheel. Okay, caster. Caster is better. So next turn I can do the Venisimus, yeah.
Don't turn away from us.
Oh, come on.
Cut him down.
I got that last one. I strongly disagree, game.
I got this. Now's my favorite part.
Cannot cast. If I do. If I look. Okay, she's normal. Okay, they're both normal. They're no longer inversed, so I can cast Pellerin Heal, give them regen.
Ready to evade.
What do you mean something is
Your
coming?
sister deserves more.
Oh no. Oh no. Danger dog. What do you mean it healed Renoir? Oh, I'm in danger.
Now, your turn to shine.
This is a problem. It's his puppy. That is a lion. Yeah. Renoir do be lion.
A bit of violence, yes.
I'm ready.
Ah! I pressed the wrong button.
to evade.
No vanishing, please.
Careful now. Now.
Careful, Verso.
Lightning dart.
Luna, careful. Minoko, get ready.
Time for me.
Soundtrack seems to switch to French names when there are potential spoilers. You can listen to Disc 1, no problem, Disc 2. But the problem is that on Spotify, I can't just, like, ignore Disc 2 easily. I appreciate you looking at it. Also, I would, knowing me, I would translate the things. I will wait until I'm done with the game. No, Spotify would have it listed by disc as well, but it's too easy to scroll down. It's music. No look, only listen. But I like looking at titles and lyrics.
Ready to strike.
Watch out, Minoko.
Ah! I always forget that last one's a chroma.
Bring it on.
Let us slay them. I'm ready.
I thought that was the pool. I thought that was the jump one.
Why, yes, I'd love a dance. Oh, really?
Take cover.
Thank you for targeting just Minoko.
Love
It's very kind of you.
I love a dance.
Oh, that last one's not a chroma. I thought it was.
Your turn to shine.
Careful now.
Uh-oh, I think Minoko's gonna get vanished here.
I'll do it.
Because I could.
My lovely.
Oh, apparently not.
Ready to evade.
I have so much burn. Ah, I don't know what any of this timing is.
bit like soup.
Oh well.
Okay, so if I want to do that, I need to be on cast. So I want to do the healing. Great.
Let us stain them.
That's much better. This track is such a banger. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Your turn to shine.
Ah, screwed up on the last one.
Your turn to shine.
Bring it on. Cut him down. Watch out.
This is going surprisingly okay.
Watch out.
My, what lovely feet.
Let's keep going. Prepare to meet your end.
Oh wow, we actually stunned it. Minoko just made it weird. Yeah, Minoko usually makes it weird.
Take cover.
Oh, we are so close. Look at that.
I'll do it.
Okay, not getting it on that counter. We'll get it on the gradients. Let's go. And yeah, I was playing on... I'm playing on easy, but still. I'm having fun. Dude, that's his dad. Yeah.
Remember who your real family is. It's not her. It's your sister, your mother, me. We are your family. He would condemn us all to die for what? Who do you really save with your sacrifice?
Your sister and your mother?
You're too drunk on your own illusions to understand.
Then let us celebrate the second destruction of the Descendre family. At long last, we meet. This is all you have left of your son. Destroying it won't bring your wife back. It will only destroy the last tie you have to each other.
Au soleil va d'illuminer Vermeil.
I love them, too.
We did it, Gustav.
Hey. How did you do that?
Not sure. The curator felt it.
Can you do it again?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think I can.
What did Renoir mean? The things he said to the curator.
I'm not sure.
Or so.
She's through there.
Yeah. Behind this door is the future of Lumiere. What every expedition has worked towards. I have trust in us.
Whoa. Okay, there's a lot going on. I'm trying to gather my thoughts on what just happened. Okay, so I think this is... I think the curator and Renoir are essentially... Renoir is a facsimile of the curator, whoever the curator once was. The curator lost his son, his Verso. And that's kind of what Renoir meant by, you know, you can't bring him back. And I'm guessing that the curator is the husband of the paintress. I'm laying down my bet there right now. Which has some interesting implications with all the painting frames lying around. So I'm beginning to think that we're not a quote-unquote real world, but are a facsimile. I'm not saying anything, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you not saying anything, but I will also posit my my theories, because I objectively know nothing. Let's change up the party again. Let's swap out Lune for Mayel. I like Mayel. She's a nimble powerhouse.
Outside.
She's there. I can feel her.
We need to be as prepared as possible. Once we go up, There's no turning back.
I didn't just auto heal at the end of the boss fight. That's weird. And the curator having some role of, like, in relationship to the paintress would explain his ability to manipulate our weapons and our tints. When would you have healed? Did you take a nap? You know, after a lot of boss fights, it usually is like, yep, here, be healed. No, camp, you have to be in the overworld. See, here, okay, and here's the paintress. She doesn't have a face either. And her heart is missing. She's literally heartbroken.
The paintress.
She looks like the curator.
Renoir. He mentioned the curator's wife. She's the paintress.
You've come back.
Alors tranchons la trame, découle la
But the fire. Are you really here? Or is he?
Je t'en prie, fuis ce tableau maudit, cette toile d'une fausse.
Oh, is he playing tricks again? Alicia,
Alicia.
your face.
My face. What about my face? Are you going to burn it again?
Alicia's your daughter.
And I'll remind you of her. The daughter you lost.
Come along. Let's go home.
Yes. You need to go home.
This is another trick. She's not Alicia. You are not my first hope.
No. Verso's dead.
No. No. You are his creations, not mine. You will not take this canvas from me.
Okay, yep, we're in a painting. And she is struggling with some serious grief and trauma, and that's...
This is what we created the expeditions for.
Tomorrow comes.
Apparently you have mail to thank for story mode. What? I thought I just went to the menu for that.
To use you like this.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh no.
Watch out, my elf. That's you. That's more like it.
Finesse and
Do you understand what you've done? You killed him.
What? I had time on that. I disagree. Apparently her VA, Jennifer English, asked for an easy mode so she could play it prior to that there was not one planned. Oh, good. Spirituality Tuesday on a Monday. Well, I mean, ultimately, the goal is to have spirituality day every day, to some degree. Good to see you, Mel. Nope, that did not spin the wheel the way I wanted it.
Let's carve a path.
Who are you supposed to be?
I love that she has a palette but no brush, but is a brush herself. Like, there's a lot of beautiful character design going on right now. Renoir is Andy Serkis? It's wild.
on fire.
You can't betray Verso like this.
Mass, hey, you get Invisalign. He's joining the battle. He is the battle. Hey, Mark, thank you for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders. We are currently fighting the Paintress and Clair Obscur. If you don't want spoilers, I recommend not watching.
For years I love dance.
But thank you so much, Mark. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope your stream was good.
Let's have some fun.
Thank you for the shout out there, Gail.
I've got this.
What? I disagree. Oh, you've been playing Borderlands 4. How is that compared to the other Borderlands? I've played Borderlands 1 and 3. So watch the Borderlands movie. Why? Still inverted. It's cursed content. You must watch cursed content. I don't think you must. I think you choose to. People are having tech issues. I mean, that just seems to be the norm for new games nowadays.
Time to hit big.
Need to be in caster mode. Now I don't have enough to even do it. Yay!
Minoko, parry!
Noko, get ready. Foolish move.
Way too early.
Flame engulfed my blade.
Okay, she's below half health, but didn't trigger a phase 2, so that has me worried that we're gonna have to completely defeat her and then go to a phase 2.
I'd love a dance. Sweet taste of battle.
Exception Nintendo games don't go on sale. Yeah, they do, for like $5 off. 3 years after it comes out.
You can't escape.
And now we can do a Fleuret Fiore. Maintain virtuous stance. What?
I'd love
Oh no, I think I pressed the wrong button.
it. Just try it. Likes you.
It's done.
Bring it on.
I'm gonna do that again, but this time do the correct attack afterwards.
Blade sharpened. This and precision.
We're overdue for some mayhem. I would have lived.
Precise strike.
We have perso todo rota. I don't understand the timing of that. I thought I'm doing it correctly, but apparently not.
Minoko, parry.
Cut him down. That's more like it.
Nesso, dodge.
I'm pretty sure I just heard Alicia sung in the music,
On me. Run up.
which would be fitting.
Sharpened.
Cut him down. I've got this. You're your turn to shine.
I'm ready.
Beth. I don't like this.
Oh, it's her giant form.
Look what I found. Oh, sorry. All aboard!
Let's go.
Okay, the people back at Lumiere are probably really scared right now about a surprise homage. Phase 2, let's go!
Renoir can grieve however he likes, but I get to grieve my own way.
Well, that kind of confirms a few things.
Renoir thinks I would not defend myself if he used your face. How little he understands me.
Precise strike. Minoko, parry.
Did I dream the fire? Is Gracia still alive?
A bit of violence, yes.
Something they could learn from calligraphy. I'm gonna do that, put that onto the almighty mask. Oh, dang, I don't have enough AP. I wanted to do the heal thing.
Get ready.
The paintress rips reality apart.
Man, I taught him to paint. And he seeks to use my creations against me.
This fight is so cinematic, but I don't know what is a attack and what's cutscene. A parryable problem. Yeah, that relies on me
Foolish
being
child.
any good at
You
the
defied me, and now he's dead.
You're outmatched.
You can't escape. Finesse. Finesse and precision.
Sweet.
So yeah, so Verso is a painted copy of real life Verso. Mael is a painted copy of Felicia. Maybe.
Permit me to help.
Finesse and precision.
You know, this boss rush feels like it's leading up to an ending, but I feel like it's also not. Kale has redeemed a father joke. You'll like this one, Gale. I made a playlist for when I go hiking. It includes things like the cranberries, peanuts, and M&M. I call it my trail mix. Would you like confirmation as to whether or not this is the ending? Nope. I want to be completely surprised.
Cut him down. I've got this.
Finesse and grace.
Watch out.
I'm not crazy. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Watch out, Mael.
Minoko will die in 2 turns. Oh boy. Well, I seem to be buying turns.
I'm ready.
Might hurt.
Plus, I
That's
can...
better.
Yeah, Versa will die in 2 turns, but guess what? He'll just take the burden upon himself anyway.
Watch out, Mael.
Time to hit big.
Well, I guess maybe I don't. Regen should be enough. Gotta take care of Kit.
Maximum damage.
That's better.
What stance am I in? I'm in offensive. I don't think she's really ever going to be burning, so... I want to save 2 so I can use her Phoenix ability, hopefully.
Nice.
Oh, that counts as a turn. Interesting.
Finesse and precision. Please survive.
Dang, her combos are tough.
Let's spill some ink. Precise strike.
Watch out.
Too early.
Didn't really need it.
Dang it, Verso, you missed. If I mail a turn.
Blade cut through the blades.
She heals a lot there. I don't like that.
Minoko, get ready.
That's better.
This is getting close. This is less about the health and it's more about managing the curse. So we're on caster. Let's do a heal. Take advantage of caster mask while we're on it.
That's more like it.
Ready to
What do the gradient charges do? It lets you do a special attack, a gradient attack, which, while not counting as a turn, does count as a turn for, like, how many turns until you die, which is weird. But I'm saving them because Mael has one that for 2 charges, she can revive everyone. So given the death counters right now, I'm kind of holding on to that.
Time to bleed. Energized.
Although these orbs are kind of forgiving. That you can target them and... So this is one of the gradient attacks. Not huge damage, but it does put Mael in virtuous stance. Okay, I've triggered a cutscene. Do we do it? We're a little over time, but...
Is it over?
"12 more faces. 12 more faces."
We're not done yet.
Verso dodge.
I'm sorry, what?
It likes you.
The Paintress is now protecting us.
Let's spill
There's
some
something
ink.
bigger and scarier out there coming our way.
Sweet taste. I would have lived. Oh, really?
She's protecting Verso. Well, true, but and also, Mael though. She did put the shield on Mael.
Flames, engulf my blade.
I am refreshed.
On guard. Finesse and precision.
That's better.
Witness your end.
That seemed a fitting way to be dramatic and end that fight.
Rest now. Things will be better soon.
I love that her petals that she gets as she's been gommaged are different.
It's over. The number. She's gone. She's gone.
It's done. You're free. You are all free.
Is this real?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Gustav's watching over us. Hey, come. Wanna plant it?
Though presumably, there'll be no one coming after, right?
It's symbolic.
Let's go home.
Yeah.
Very subtle audio cue, but when Mael put down the flag, it was the same sound as Renoir with his cane.
Still feel immortal?
Less than yesterday.
And I have a sneaking suspicion Verso and Renoir are immortal
Shall
because
we test it out?
they are
I
the
appreciate the
curator's
offer.
creations.
Monoko, you've been extra quiet since we got to the monolith.
Have I?
What now? We go back to Lumiere and
So why was the paintress trying to
life goes
undo
on?
Yeah.
her creation?
Decades and decades in front of us. Guess this is how it feels to be immortal. What do we do now with all this time?
The expedition might be over. But we're not done yet. There are so many questions left to answer.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. It ain't over till credits. but this would feel like an ending. But it feels like there's another, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Brother, I tire of the conflicts and deceptions that plague our family and theirs. So, I entrust you with this letter. Whether you give it to her is up to you. I'm at peace with what's to come. When the time comes, I hope you will be too. Maya, it's a strange feeling watching you with my brother, laughing and smiling, without the scars or the memories that afflict me. Alicia, as she was meant to be, not this painted version that I am. My family, a facsimile of yours, and this world, a mirror, painted by your mother, the paintress, to stave off her grief. Seeing your expedition through would plunge us all into the abyss. For in ridding the world of the paintress, you'd lose the sole force standing against the one who would erase us, the one who invokes the flowers of the Gamash. An act of love, for he does love her. Your father. On her monolith, she paints a warning for us all, of the few she can save as her power wanes. We all wish for our families to thrive. Your family, however, believes only one can survive. But perhaps you'll find another way. You who have lived amongst us, perhaps you differ from your father and your sister, as I differ from mine. Your mother paints life, whilst your father, death. What will you paint?
You're okay.
Alicia? Good, you're awake. Come downstairs.
Oh my. That was an unexpected... yeah. So the paintress wasn't destroying her work. Wow. So the curator has actually been the bad guy all along in some sense. He's the one who's actually doing the gommaging. Why is he trying to destroy her work? Well, I guess it's because she's so wrapped up in it because she's using it as a form of managing her grief of losing her family. But like, oh, but wait, there's more. Yeah, there's still more. And unfortunately, that's where we're going to have to call it. That's going to be the... Oh, I don't know if I... Okay, yeah, I can pause and quit. Okay, good. Yeah, this is unfortunately where we're going to have to call it for the day. I had a feeling the paintress wasn't evil. Good call. Yeah, wow. What a twist. And I am aware there are multiple endings, so we'll probably spend next time going through those. But wow, just that sudden homage of everyone, just gut wrenching. Oh, and at the height of the celebration, oh my goodness, you feel so victorious having conquered the paintress, and then you just get smacked down, and it's like, oh. So that's kind of what Renoir was alluding to, I guess. Ooh. Small point of clarification. But Mael got gommaged. And there does seem to be some interesting implications between, is Alicia the real one or is Mael the real one? And I don't know if that's fully resolved yet. Because here we are with Alicia, face burns and all. And yes, the curator is her husband and is alive. But there seems to be some implication that the Verso we know is the real Verso all along, which raises question about who died in the fire, but there's a lot going on. There's still more to be unraveled, and I wish I could keep going, but I do have to go to dinner. So we will yeah, I did note that Mael's petals were gold. I did note that, which does imply, because so was the paintresses, and that would imply that is them leaving the painting versus them disappearing via the gommage. So I think that's being hinted at, but again, I don't know for sure yet. And we'll find out next time. So we can look forward to that next Monday. But in the meantime, get solvented. Yeah, a little bit. In the meantime, thank you to everyone who's tuned in for Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Join us again tomorrow for something. I haven't made up my mind what we're doing, but it'll be something for Spirituality Tuesday. Also, there's a lot of questions, I think, around the magic of the painting and the way that she could enter into it, which I find fascinating and hope they explore. I don't want a Brandon Sanderson level explanation, but I hope we get to kind of see what the painting is from their perspective and kind of that sense of what it means to be lost in it. Is it a metaphor for being lost in it? Who knows? Anyway. Yeah, so tomorrow something. I was thinking about Didactic Jesus game. I might wait on that. We might be playing Journey instead. Wednesday is Minecraft, working on the greenhouse. I had some thoughts of what to do with it. I think I want to go less rounded on the corners and more boxy like the actual thing. So hopefully that'll make sense. Hollow Knight? Yeah, no. And Thursday, Donkey Kong Country 2 and moving into 3. And then next Monday, we're finishing this. Well, I don't know if we're finishing it because I don't know how long the epilogue is. But we're moving forward with the epilogue starting next week. So thank you again to everyone who's tuned in. Thank you for liking, following, subscribing, giving bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna send you on over to Webby Pumpkin. He's playing Paper Mario. I've not played the first Paper Mario. I've played 1,000-Year Door, Super Paper Mario, Sticker Star. Anyway, raid call will be Father Raid. Spam any meat morps or emotes that you've got. Go give Webby some love. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.